Hey y'all, what's up? It's me, Majority, out here today for some Q&A for the months of January, February, March, and April, but parts of January and parts of April. I'm kind of going halfway in between each, so this is like a 3-month Q&A. Uh, don't have I have a normal amount of questions, so we'll get to it. Before we do, just make sure you check out the Discord if you want to leave a question. That's where you do so in the Q&A subthread for your sworn brothers. Links in the description below. I do just want to make an announcement before I start. I did private the video response to the button mappers on censorship in gaming. I just found that it was hard for me to get away from some of my feelings about the comments section. I feel like I can't avoid it with how YouTube just puts the stuff in your face, even if you have notifications disabled. So I'll still be showing it and responding to it in the Button Mappers community discourse. But as far as this channel goes, I just want to take a breather from it. It's been a little overwhelming. I did not expect the response that I got, the views that I got. I got like 500 views, and the actual like viewpoints from people. It's fine. I'm just gonna move on. I want to go back to talking about games, and not get caught up in the I don't know, the back and forths. So that's where I'm at. But what better place to start than here on the Q&A? And we got a lot of great questions. Let's get into it. Let's just jump in. Let's just let's get through the majority of these. In fact, all of them. Fuck Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. What Nintendo game that didn't have a release on the Nintendo 64 do you wish was on the Nintendo 64? Great question to start. I love that console. I think there's a thing that I've liked seeing recently, and that's how sometimes these publishers are making their like retro style games also like on Nintendo 64. Ukulele was supposed to have some N64 card as like some backer thing. So what would be a cool N64 game to have? I got to come up with this one off the cuff. I think that like a 3D Pokemon Yellow could have been cool. I know that like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are supposed to be that, but come on, man, not really. So I think I know like Pokemon Stadium lets you play the game on the TV, but I just think it would be really cool to see it in the N64 style, the polygonal style, the polygamous style. Lots of Pokemon wives. Anyways, thank you, Terry. Bio Phoenix, what type of wizard would you want to be? If I could be a wizard, well, what if I was a wizard? What if I am a wizard? Bio Majority, the connoisseur. That would be my title. It's like Gandalf the Grey. Well, a Majority, the connoisseur of tea. Yes, Terry, I'm drinking Irish breakfast today. Cheers. A good hot cup of tea. Which actually leads to the next question. What is the coolest cup that you would drink tea out of? So I picked the best one in my collection because it's got a bit of a story behind it. I do get a lot of these gamer mugs, but this is the Brownstone Pancake House. Oh no, Factory mug. So this is in New Jersey. It's like the top spot to visit in Jersey is the Brownstone Pancake House. We went after being in Harlem one day. It was like a 15-minute drive, and we got this like, oh my gosh, what was it? It was like cheesecake pancakes or something, and just these like monster specialty meals. There was like an hour wait to get inside. Well, we loved the meal, and I was drinking coffee out of this mug, and I was like, hey, this is a really nice mug. I told the waitress after I had already paid, hey, are these for sale? And she's like, oh, let me check with my manager. Well, she checked with somebody, and while she was checking, another waitress came back because I guess she told them, and they wrapped up the mug that I was drinking out of. And I was like, oh, cool. now I got the Brownstone Pancake Factory mug. But then she came back after and also had another one for me. So there was some miscommunication there that led to me getting 2 free mugs from Brownstone Pancake House Factory. I keep misnaming it. You think the least I could do is get the name right. Well, Brownstone Pancake Factory, cheers to you. Thanks for the mugs. And I'd love to come back sometime in Jersey. This breakfast tea is scalding, Terry. Grand Papo. That's Alex. What platformer has your favorite narrative and why? Well, I like to go with the good old school Banjo. I think Banjo Tooie does it for me. It proves that, this kind of jolly looking platformer can be more than meets the eye. There's a lot of cool sub narratives in there that I really like. I think like Jolly Roger and his, co-worker getting swallowed by a big fish, but there's this like secret romantic arc between them is really something. The Glitter Gulch Mine, the mouse being trapped in the Mayhem Temple. I think it's just like, and then it's all wrapped up in this bigger narrative of Grunty messing shit up. The Grunty back from the dead Grunty. She actually kills, a couple people, King Jingling and Bottles, although I guess they come back by the end. Spoiler alert. Very profound and substantive narrative, replete with many unique tales, I guess. Banjo Tooie. Great narrative for a platformer. They should really add it back to the N64 service. But thank you, Microsoft. I love the HD remaster. JC, to be or not to be? The existential question. I vote to be. Cheers. Bio Phoenix, what was the first episode of Pokemon you recall watching? Probably the first one. I remember it being very emotional. I remember Ash getting the Pikachu. I don't know how I had seen him, whether it was on TV or whatnot, but I remember the Ho-Oh flying across the screen. That was a big moment. The stealing of the bike, etc. That's the first one I remember. Who's an author you thought about reading but never have? Stephen King. I've still never read a Stephen King book, but he's always recommended. In fact, I have The Green Mile just sitting on my clothes drawer, but I have not opened it. I'm reading a couple other things right now, including Pikachu's Global Adventure or something like that. The Rise and Fall of Pokemon. And another one that was a gift from a student. Fuck Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. What was the second episode of Pokemon you recall watching? Let me recall right now. It was probably the second episode, although I'm having trouble recalling exactly what it was in the second episode. I don't know if he meets Brock by then. I think it's still him and Misty. Obviously, I remember the Butterfree episode, but that's way later. Gosh, I just don't recall. But that's the one I recall, is the one I don't recall. Favorite Pokemon movie? The first one. And I hear that the stuff in the subbed version is better. I have not seen the subbed version, but I would like to someday. But I still enjoyed the dub one for what it was. Favorite Pokemon villain? Gary. Or Giovanni, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But what do I like about Giovanni? I don't know, he's kind of a badass. A terroristic badass, but I don't know, something about his demeanor is gives off this cool hard vibe. And same with Gary. I kind of like them for similar reasons, I guess. What is the worst game you have ever watched on a stream? Probably Minecraft. Nothing against Minecraft, but just what I was watching was really boring. And Elden Ring. Shots fired. What was the third episode? The Butterfree one. That was the third episode. Will I stream SGT again? Well, this is Multimaster. What I think he means SMT. Maybe if they come out with another one. But I think I'm done for a while. SMT3, I'm happy with my 2 endings, and SMT5, I'm burnt out. I am absolutely burnt out. Fuck Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Will I stream Pokemon Snap? For you, Terry, yeah. Will I eat Pokemon Snap? No. What is the coolest thing you own? Umbreon. And that Dratini pixel wall art back there. Games with T. Hey, with T. With T. Get it? You got to follow along for that one. That's VG Mashup. What's up, T, fellow T connoisseur? How would you rank the following entertainment media from least to most enjoyable? Movies, TV shows, video games, books, sports, watching or playing, and board games. Let me go through each. I think if I do a 1 to 5 scale, that would make this easier. So movies, I'd give a 3. TV shows, I would give a 3. Video games, I'd give a 5. Books, I'd give a 2. Sports, I'd give a 3. And board games, I'd give a 2. Now, so let's start with the least. Books and board games are on bottom. So, I just don't enjoy reading books, but I find them valuable. So, like, I have that dilemma. I want to read more. I just don't have fun doing it. So, board games, on the other hand, I feel like are fun, but given like the options, I'd probably rather just watch a movie or a TV show. And so how do you pick which one is more valuable? I guess it goes books are least, board games are second least. Yeah. Just because I like the communal aspect, and I think at this stage of my life I value a little more the community interactions, and sometimes it's nice to get away from the screen time with either of those. Next, we got movies, TV shows, and sports. I'd put movies last there, to be honest, simply because I think that not a lot of great movies out. Going to the movies used to be a real fun event, and it still is. It's just like 5 times a year because there's only that many movies that are that worth watching. TV shows are probably next. I feel like I have more TV shows to watch, and I watch them together with my partner. But I can also see how they can be kind of taxing and not really as valuable. So there's something about TV shows are grossly addicting that I don't like, but I feel like are really helpful. Sports is highest. Now that might be surprising, but recently with my father, I've been enjoying watching sports just that are on TV. Golf, rugby, bowling, just you name it. It's just fun because like it's something that we can bond over and talk about and just kind of watch aimlessly. And I love playing sports. I love being active, going to the gym, playing basketball. I used to love frisbee in high school, and so sports is highest. And then video games are the highest. Sports was highest of the 3. So the full order goes books, board games, movies, TV shows, sports, video games. Video games are highest because I think they mean the most to me and I get the most out of them. Sports, you could argue I get more out of, but I have more fun with video games. So, very thought-provoking question. I like it. BioPhoenix, would I play a Dragon Quest board game? You mean Fortune Street? Absolutely. Fuck Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Is Pokemon a professional sport? Is it an e-sport? It's a competitive game with the online and the strategy making, but would you consider chess a sport? That's what I'd equate it to. They're not like exactly equivalent, but there are like the ideas of like building your team, making your moves, and what role will each Pokemon have. I don't know if I would say it's a competitive game, but I wouldn't say it's a professional sport. Have I ever eaten sand? Alex has. Probably. I've had a stick once. Very small stick, but I had a stick. Miguel Anito, who's the main character in Dragon Quest, probably Hero, seconded by Erdrick, thirded by Terry. What was the best-selling Dragon Quest game? Still is Dragon Quest 11. What was the last Dragon Quest game I completed? Well, I'll go with finished. I don't know if you look at like completion, if I've gotten every single thing again. I don't know what you would call completion for some of them. Like in Dragon Quest 1, would it be maxing out the level? Because that's not happening. And Dragon Quest 4, what would it be? Like, I played the post game content on the DS version. So I would say that I completed Dragon Quest 4. But if you're just going credits rolled, the last one that I completed was Dragon Quest 6. So, Dragon Quest. Grand Papo, do I find myself caring more about story or gameplay? Gameplay. Lately, I enjoy story, but gameplay maybe is more important. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough question. I think I'm more invested in the gameplay, but the story kind of roots everything for me. It's got to have a functional story. So that's kind of where I'm at. So there's the caveat. I'm more invested in gameplay, but I do care about the story. I don't know. I think that's my answer. Miguel, if you could only play games with one hand, what would I play? I don't want to know the scenario for that, but can't be puzzle or turn-based RPG or visual novel. Basketball. Yeah. But if you're going for genre, arcade. Yeah. What are my thoughts on Yoshi's Story and Yoshi's Crafted World? So I played Yoshi's Story. I finished it years ago, decades ago. Yoshi's Crafted World I've never played. But I have played the 3DS one. And my experience with the N64 one was good. Like I thought it was kind of, it had this interesting eerie atmosphere that I don't think you'd expect from Yoshi. But it was still pretty cool. And it contrasts nicely with like the kind of music, which is weird. And the art style, it has this hand-drawn art style. The 3DS one was a little plain. I don't know. It's sometimes with the modern Nintendo platformers, they feel very samey. Bad itch. Should games have difficulty settings? That or life counters or, safeguards in place. I do think that it does create a like kind of a user-friendly experience. I'm trying to think what the argument for it not to have one would be. Maybe to make it like just more, I don't know, like an art thing or something. But I definitely think that if you change up the formula on subsequent playthroughs, it helps. I guess like Zelda would be different, like the thing that's like it does not need a difficulty setting because, it's there. I don't think you can adjust it, but it seems to still be accessible for a lot of people. But I think people would benefit from the added challenge. But you can create that. You can create that challenge for yourself. I did it for a 3 heart run for Ocarina of Time. I've seen on the Wii U, the Wii U, you could tap the Ganondorf amiibo to do half heart counter, which is stupid, but whatever. So I could see the reason not to have it, but I also think that some games benefit from it. I couldn't play a lot of old school games if they didn't have life counters, difficulty settings, cheats, etc. Rewind feature. Fuck Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Is Spencer really straight edge, or does he have a secret we don't know about? The two are not mutually exclusive, Terry. He is straight edge, and he may have a secret we don't know about. We just don't know. Miguel, will we ever get a revote of Mario versus Sonic for button mappers? Probably not. Fuck Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Would there be any point of doing a revote on Mario versus Sonic, given the fact that Mario would win every time? Given the fact that, I don't know, do I agree with that? I don't know if I do. Listen, I was there. I played my part. So it's what it is. What is the next table topics? You'll find out in the next table topics. Have you ever ate at a hot pot? Yes, actually. It's one of the places I went with my roommates before they up and left, and it was really nice. So, questions for the next episode. We'll start here. Thanks, everybody, for the questions. See you next trimester.